Hey everyone, it's Reverend Hope, and I'm here with one more episode about how we can care for creation. We talked about lots of different parts of creation, but today we are going to talk about a very special part of creation. You! Sometimes we talk so much about taking care of the environment and caring for God's creation that we forget that we're actually part of creation too. And part of taking care of creation, just like God has asked us to, is to take care of ourselves and to take care of other people. So I am going to tell you one of my very favorite Bible stories. And it's all about, most Bible stories are about people, but I am going to tell you one of my very favorite ones. It is the first chapter of Genesis. It's the creation story. It's all about how God created the world and about how God created humans. And I think it helps us to learn more about how we're related to the rest of creation. It's pretty cool. Creation. So, on the first day of creation, God looked out and God saw nothing. And then God did something really cool. God separated light from darkness, and God called the light day, and God called the dark night. There was day and there was night. On the second day, God looked out, and there was a lot of water, and God separated the water, and God put some water up in the sky, and God put most of the water down in the oceans. And God created the skies and the oceans when God did that. And on that day too, there was day and there was night. And on the third day, that was when God separated the water again, and God made dry land come up out of the water. And on top of that dry land, God put all of the grasses and the trees and the flowers and all of the plants. God pulled them up out of the ground and made all of those forests. And it was on that day that we got that soil that we talked about way back at the beginning, that soil that we have a special relationship with, humans and soil. And then, all of those things that come out of it, there were trees, just like that fig tree that Jesus talked about in the gospel, when Jesus told a story about a gardener and a fig tree. And the gardener was just so impatient for the figs to grow. The gardener just needed to wait one more year. Yeah, just like that story of the fig tree. It was day 3 when God made fig trees. And on the 4th day, that's when God created the sun and the moon and the stars, and God put them up in the sky. And just like all of the other days, there was day and there was night on that. On the 5th day, that's when God made the birds of the air and the fish in the sea. Yeah, remember those fish that tried to sneak on the boat at Noah's Ark? That's when the fish were created on day 5. Oh, and the dove that Noah sent out from his ark to check and see if there was enough land to survive outside of the ark after the flood, that dove came on day 5 of creation. And day 6, that is when God created all of the animals who walk on the land, all of those animals that we put on the ark last week. wolves, a deer, snake, all sorts of animals that walk along the air, or walk along the ground. And when all of that was done, God looked out and God thought that there was something missing. That's when God created people. Yeah. God created people in God's image. And that's what makes us so special. And at the end of all of it, God looked at the humans and God said, it's your job to take care of this because I love it and I made it. And I made you in my image so that you could take care of it. But also because God gave us everything we need in life, our food, water, air, everything we could possibly need for life. God gave us that in creation. And it's our job to take care of it so that people can keep living on those things for years and years to come. And then came day 7 of creation. That's when God looked out and everything looked really, really good. And God was so tired from creating everything that God rested. God decided to take a nap. Because naps are an amazing thing and everyone needs to take a nap sometimes, even God. So one of my favorite things about this scripture passage is that humans are the last thing that are created. Yeah. I think that that's really cool because, if God had decided to create humans on the second day, well, there'd be no land and no food. It'd be kind of hard for us to survive. Yeah, we need the land, we need the soil, we need all of the plants and the trees that grow in the soil. We need all of those things to survive. And then if humans had been created on what, day 5? There'd be no animals to be on the land with us. We wouldn't have our pets. We wouldn't have there's so many things that we wouldn't have. But we wouldn't have cows. We wouldn't have chickens. We wouldn't have all of these animals that we love and that we get to live with all the time. We need all of those things to help us survive. They all help us keep the world in a better place. All of them do something in the world that changes the environment and helps make it this perfect place for us to live. So if we were missing any of it, we might not be able to survive. We were created last because we need all of the things that came before us to survive and to thrive in the creation that God made. So this is the last week that I'm going to be putting out weekly videos, but this week I want you all to do something that makes you happy. We are living in such a weird time, and we have all of these weird emotions about it. And sometimes it can be really, really hard to find something that makes us happy or something that makes us laugh right now. So this week, I want you to do something special that will make you happy, that will bring you joy, that will make you laugh. Because just like the story tells us, the story shows us that we're not better than creation. We're not separate from it. We're part of creation. So a really important part of taking care of creation is to take care of ourselves. So this week, I want you to do something that helps take care of yourself. Hi friends, I'm back with this week's special fact. Did you know that in the Gospels, Jesus tells us that the most important rules to follow are to love God and to love your neighbor? Both of those things are super important. That is what God cares the most about. But did you know that caring for your environment is an important part of loving your neighbor? We all need air to breathe, and water to drink, and good soil to grow our food. All of us need that. So when we do things that help keep the air clean and the water safe for drinking and help make the soil healthy to grow our food, we're not just taking care of ourselves, we're showing our neighbors how much we love them because we want to make sure that they have those things that they need to live a healthy life. Hi everyone. I will see you soon.